This is hopefully the last podcast I will film in this room. Hello, my name is Emily Crow from The Cozy Crow, and welcome to my YouTube channel, and welcome to today's episode of the Crochet and Knitting Podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing everything that I've been crocheting and knitting on since the last podcast, which is what I did during most of the month of September. I'll be sharing my finished objects, my works in progress, and a couple new fun yarn-related goodies, and some fun and exciting life things too at the end. First, I want to get started with a couple pieces of news that I mentioned in my last podcast. Just as a reminder that I have restarted up my book club on Discord. So you can check out the link down below if you want to join. The book that we're reading for this last bit of the year is called With Her Own Hands by Nicole Narig, and we will be doing a book club meetup sometime late November, early December, virtually. And we're going to be having the author herself join us for that discussion, which I'm really excited about. So I have started this book. I have a ways to go. It's not a super long book, but it's a really interesting read so far, and I think I'm really going to like it. So if you're interested in joining us for this really interesting nonfiction book club, you can join our Discord to do some chatting as we read along. And then also as we get closer to that actual book club meeting, I'll make sure to share the details so you can join us for that as well. And then the other big piece of news is that my Bookish blanket make-along for this fall is also going on right now, but this Bookish blanket make-along is going through the end of November. So make sure, again, if you want to join our Discord, then you can there. We'll be giving out a few participation prizes throughout the course of the make-along. Whips are welcome. And then at the very end of this make-along, if you have any finished objects that you submit in the entry form, then you'll be entered to win some of our really amazing prizes. All the videos are going to be linked down below. I've got a crochet blanket video and a knitting blanket video with some fun ideas if you are looking for ideas on what projects you could potentially make for this make-along. I've also got an info video down below with information about the finer details of the rules. This isn't a long video though. And also what prizes are going to be offered at the very end. So lots of really exciting information. I'm really excited for this make-along, and it's been fun seeing the projects that people have been coming up with, the things that people have been meaning to make. They just needed a little push, or it's a whip that's been lingering and they just needed a little extra motivation to get them restarted on working on that blanket project so they can hopefully have a cozy blanket to curl up in for this colder weather here in the Northern Hemisphere. With those two pieces of news out of the way, definitely check out the links all down below in my description box. Let's move into our finished objects. The first finished object I have to share with you is a baby knit, and this is one that you saw last podcast if you were watching. This is a muscle burra, though it definitely looks different than the last time you saw this. This is in the baby size, and I used a DK weight yarn to get this gauge. I like that the muscle burra has a wide range of gauges so you can kind of see what suits your yarn. So this was my first time doing a baby muscle burra and doing a DK muscle burra. So it was a very different experience for me. I am much more familiar with how much yarn I use in a fingering weight project for like an adult small child large size head, which is what I am. And so this was a new experience. And I was just using leftover yarn that I used in a couple other baby projects I have over here, if I can reach them. I don't know where else to store them because our nursery isn't put together yet, so I don't have like a good spot for baby things. But I made some DK socks and some little mitts first, and then I wanted to use the rest of the yarn to make a muscle burra, and I fell short a little bit. So I had to improvise, but I had this DK, I think this was a stroll DK in the bear colorway from Knit Picks that I just had a little leftover, and I have a little leftover still. But what I did for this muscle burra, if you're not familiar with the construction, you're basically knitting a very long tube that you seat inside itself to make a double layered beanie. And then you can also flip up the brim to make the brim now have 4 layers to make it extra cozy. It's a really simple stockinette project. I like that it has so many sizes, so many gauges, so it's very versatile, really easy to just pick up, put down if you want a project that is really simple stockinette, but still portable and not a sock. This is a really good option for you. So what I did is I knit as much as I could with the yarn I had. So pretend that this white white stripe is not there. I knit as much as I could. This is how much I was left with. So I did a really good job at guesstimating my yarn at what point I would need to start doing the decreases for this hat. I didn't end up having to frog that, which I'm really grateful for. But I finished the hat and I seated it inside itself, and I just felt like it was probably gonna be too short. And I would rather have a hat be a little too long than a little too short, because baby ears need to be covered in the middle of winter. And so what I did was some hat surgery. I measured from each crown, found the middle point, and just to double check, I counted my rounds on either side of that middle round that I had flagged, and it actually worked out perfectly that I had exactly the same number of rounds on either side. So once I got rid of that middle round by cutting it, separating things out, they would still be perfectly even. So it worked out perfectly. On either side of that round, I threaded a needle through. So I caught all the stitches above that line and below that line. And then I was able to do just a snip halfway through that round, unthread the yarn so that it ended at the beginning of round on either side. The two hats were in separate pieces, and I was able to then join in my white yarn onto the bottom part of the hat, or like the beginning part, and I just knit for the remaining length that I needed for the baby size as written in the pattern to make the full size hat. So I just knit around, and then I grafted, because I do like a Kitchener stitch. I grafted this beginning of the hat that now had the white stripe on it to the remaining part of the blue hat, so like the second half of the hat. And I still need to figure out what's going on, because I feel like whenever I do a Kitchener stitch in the round, I have issues with the very beginning of my round. Something weird always happens, and so I have like a little nub here because I had to use my end to go over that join to make it look a little nicer. So visually it looks a lot better than it did, but it doesn't feel the same as the rest of the yarn, unfortunately. So I need to figure out what I'm doing wrong with that Kitchener. I think it's something to do with how I start my Kitchener when I'm working in the round. So I need to do some looking into that to see what is going on. Now I have a hat. It's the length that was listed in the pattern. And so I feel confident that this is going to fit my baby's head and cover their ears and keep them nice and cozy. I just wanted to be sure that it would do its job as a hat. I didn't want to make what is it called when the beanie is like just like that big, and some people like that look, like a watchman cap maybe. I don't necessarily like that look, and it's not as useful as a hat because I want my ears nice and cozy, and I think my baby will too. I have the hat. It was nice to also stash bust. I really liked that I could totally finish off that skein of blue yarn that I'll talk about in a minute, and that I could pull something from my stash to just add this little stripe. I'm thinking I might use this leftover that was just in my stash to make a matching hat for my daughter in a pink color that I have, because I also have some stash yarn. And then it would be cute that like my two kids will have matching hats for the winter that will coordinate. I used Sorella yarn in their home line that they recently came out with. I bought a pink skein and a blue skein as kind of like a gender reveal type thing. So we're having a boy. I used the blue skein, though I'm not strictly making everything blue for him. I'm doing like a brown, green, blue type of color palette is kind of how I'm focusing in and making my decisions. Blue for him, because he can't tell me what color he likes, and pink for my daughter because she loves pink. So this yarn, Sorella yarn home line, this color is called Gingham, and I told you last time that I hadn't blocked any of these projects using this yarn, so I didn't quite know how it would feel as a finished project, though it felt a little bit maybe slightly thicker and slightly more, like toothy and rustic is not the right word, but like a little bit stiffer of a yarn. It creates a stiffer fabric than like a Cascade 220, for example. And I have a Cascade 220 that I recently grabbed that I can compare it to. So I'll talk about this project later, but this is their non-superwash Cascade 220 line, and it's also a DK weight gauge, but just the process of knitting with this versus knitting with the home line, I've really enjoyed this a lot more. This is I think it's an 80-20 superwash merino and then a cashmere style nylon, whatever that means. But I just don't like the feel of this as much as a hand-dyed sock yarn with the same base. It's just not as smooth to knit with. like I said, it felt a little bit thicker, and so it was a little bit stiffer to work with in general. It's not toothy or hard, but definitely not my ideal like knitting experience if I want something soft. Though I think that the superwash and the nylon combo is still going to be really hard wearing. That's the vibe I'm getting from this. So it would be good for child makes, I think, but definitely not like the softest or most enjoyable experience. I don't know if going up a needle size would improve that experience for me. I do have one more skein, the pink skein of Sorella yarn home line, that I can try out. I don't have an idea of what I'd want to make with that, but I think if I break into that skein, I'm going to try sizing up my needles and see if I like a looser gauge with that yarn. But this is really thick and sturdy, it feels like, compared to this Cascade 220. This is a non-superwash yarn. Definitely clings to itself a little bit more, but feels much smoother and drapier, if that makes sense. So it's kind of interesting seeing the different experiences I'm having. I expected the home line from Sorella yarn to be a little bit softer to the touch, a little bit drapier, but it's still a very reasonable texture for the content that yarn is, if that makes sense. So I'm not unhappy with it. It's just a little bit different than I anticipated. And it just might require me to make slight modifications next time I use the yarn in order to get a fabric I like even more than this fabric that I think will do its job just fine. The next finished object I have to share with you, it's a little guy. This is my gnome for September. This is the Gnome Pun Intended by Sarah Shira. And this is smaller than I thought it would be, which is great because I feel like I haven't had time to knit these gnomes. But now I have 9 for 9 gnomes for the Year of Gnomes knit along. I'm trying to knit a gnome every single month, even though time is hard right now to set aside for a gnome project. I'm really proud of myself for keeping up with this Year of Gnomes knit along. This is my September gnome. I just pulled some things from my stash. I have no idea what this like navy blue is from. Not a clue. This hat color, this like really pale, almost like a pale dusty blue, is from Sorella yarn, I think. I had like a mini set that I've been slowly working my way through, and so that's what this is from. I really love these like wrinkles in the hat and that it has this cute little curve. That's really what made me want to knit this gnome. Super, super cute, and just like a cute little fringe beard. So overall, not a hard project to work on, and I think he turned out really cute. I just realized I didn't do a thumbnail. I'll do it for my next project because I have a big one to share soon. I'm really happy with how he turned out. For this month, for October, I'm going to do the, is it Nettle is the name of it? It's the witch version of the Mystery Gnome knit along for this month. And I do want to make the pumpkin one. I'll probably do the pumpkin one in November because still fall related, but I want to do the witchy one first. So that's my plan. I already have yarn set aside for that, though I might make some quick switches. I am not sure. Still thinking about it. We'll see how my colors play together and if I for sure am committed with this first clue or if I want to pivot after the first clue and do something a little different. But we're doing a witchy gnome for this next month, which I'm really excited about. I gotta add him to my shelf of gnomes over there. I had quite a few gnomes before this Year of Gnomes make along, and my gnome collection has just exponentially increased with this knit along. This next finished object is one that's a long time in the making that I'm so excited to have done. I've had this in my whip pile for over a year now, going on 2 years almost. So this feels really good to get it done. And this project is my Grove Shawl Light. It's all washed, it's all blocked, ends woven in, and it looks so good. I'm so excited. You'll see that my progress keeper, my little chocolate chip cookie that I made, is right here. I did a lot of knitting, but it's because it felt like the final stretch that I wanted to just pound through it and really get it done. And this just became my most portable project in the moment. And so this is what I brought to church. This is what I focused on Sundays, going to my in-laws to visit, things like that. And as I was finishing off different colors and fading in other colors, I was able to take things out of my bag. I was able to have less going on in each row as my stitch count decreased. So it just felt like it got faster and faster and faster. And so For sure, the second half of the shawl went way faster than the first half because of that experience. This is the Grove Shawl Light by Sarah Opie, and it is intended to be used with a 4-color fade of fingering weight yarn. So this was perfect for a weekly countdown. This countdown was from Through the Wardrobe Yarn Co. And oh, these colors are so beautiful. I love all of them together, and I have extras of all of them. So I have this green, this darker green with a little bit of mauve in there, this mauve color, and then this like tan and mauve is probably my favorite. I already put away my yarn, but I had, I don't know, maybe like 30 grams left of every color, which is really exciting. I don't have the numbers written down, but I'm guesstimating that I had like 30-ish grams of each color left. So I have a good chunk to use for other projects, which is great because I love all these colors. And I can't quite remember which color went with which colorway. And so if I have the list, if I can find it, I'll pop it up here so that you can read it. But it was all like Bookish themed. Super cute. So yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's really simple as a shawl. Sarah walks you through all the different fading patterns. There's this cute I-cord edging on either side, but it's garter stitch. So it's really simple, and it's not too big of a size. I don't think it's kind of hard to show here, but I'm not wearing the right kind of shirt for this, but definitely like a good size for actually staying warm, also for fashion in the cooler months. So this is done in the perfect amount of time so that I can have this for the fall and the winter. I love it. I'm so happy with how it turned out. I really do love these colors. I can take out my progress keeper now that it's a finished object. So fun. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now I feel like I need to do another big long-term project because I finished 2 long-term projects in the past month. Let's talk about the second one. My very last finished object that I have to share with you is my anthology throw by Helen Stewart, and I don't have it with me because it's currently on my bed right now, and my cat was taking a nap, and I can't take his blanket from him right now, but I'll pop up a picture because I took a few pictures, and I filmed a vlog where I worked on this summer advent project. The yarn is from Dragon Hoard Yarns, and it was their July 2025 summer advent countdown type of calendar. So there were 31 mini skeins. They were all inspired by Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros, and I thought it would just be fun to have like a Bookish yarn advent and to try it out in the off season. And I shared my experience with you in a vlog that should be coming really soon. It might even be out before this video is out, just depending on when I can get in editing time. But I talk a lot more about this project in that video, so I'm not going to share a lot here, but I'm so excited that this is done. It took me almost 3 months to do, so longer than I anticipated, but definitely taught me a lot about doing an advent or a countdown style project, how much knitting is involved in something like this, and also taught me a little bit more about like playing with colors and the kind of colors and color palette that I may be looking for in future advent projects. So I definitely recommend that you check out that video. I'll link it up above and down below when that video is out. And I know that Dragon Hoard has another Bookish related advent for December that's like each day is a different mystery book, which I think is so fun, but I just don't have the capacity this year to do another advent project in the month of December because hopefully I will have a baby sometime that month. Fingers crossed that I don't go into January, but we shall see what happens. So let's talk about some works in progress. Since I finished a couple really big projects and really honed in on those, I feel ready to cast on some things. So I've only got 2 whips to share with you today, but some things I'm really excited about and some things I'm really getting a lot of work done on. So I foresee myself finishing these in the next month. So we'll be having more projects kind of cycle through my podcast than I have recently, just because I've gotten a few big things off my plate and I'm really excited about what I have to share with you. We're gonna start with my bigger project. I have this new project bag from Goose and Ghost Knits, this cute mushroom bag. I am a fan of mushrooms. I'm really feeling the vibe, and I thought that this like blue and white polka dot type of fabric that coordinates with it would also make this the perfect bag for my mom's hug sweater. If you have seen my fall plans video, I talk about this project and how I just didn't know what yarn I would use. I was like not 100% convinced that I was gonna get around to it, but it was really sticking in my brain, and I kept coming back to this sweater because it is just such a cool idea for a pregnant and a breastfeeding mom. I just don't have a lot of clothes that fit that category, and I don't have hardly any knit or crochet items that would fall into this category. So having a maternity or postpartum friendly knitting piece just sounded amazing, and I really wanted to make it. I got some encouragement from people online to just cast on and make it happen, and so that's what I'm doing. I went to my local yarn store and I purchased some yarn, and that's where this Cascade 220 came from in this heathered faded, oh my gosh, I can't talk, in this heathered faded denim colorway. So pretty. I just wanted to pick a color that I thought would look good with my skin tone, that would kind of fill a gap in my wardrobe so that I could really get a ton of use out of this while I'm pregnant, while I'm in the early postpartum days, while I'm breastfeeding, while things are cold and I want to be cozy and snuggly and wear my knits, but maybe don't feel comfortable wearing my hand-dyed yarn knit sweaters because I don't want to get them messy. Like, I wanted something that was a sturdy yarn, inexpensive, that could get a lot of wear and tear and still hold up really, really well. And I've not worked with Cascade 220 before. I've worked with the Superwash 220 and I've worked with other Cascade yarns, but this was pretty new for me, and so far I really love the knitting experience. It's a very soft non-superwash, and that's really where like I love yarn the most. Like, the knitting experience is having that softer to the touch but still with a little bit of tooth and grab to it type of yarn. So honestly, this is perfect. I definitely see myself working with this again. We'll see how it wears with a lot of wear and tear, but I'm really loving the knitting experience. So I'll show you the sweater so far. Ta-da! It's a little hard to visualize, but now that I've gotten quite a few inches done on it, you can definitely see the vision, I feel like. So this was knit in like lots of different pieces where you did like part of this shoulder, part of this shoulder, part of this shoulder. Oh, now we join more yarn to do like this flap and this flap. So the very beginning looked like nothing. But I will say that the construction, while it was very unique and not something I was familiar with, the pattern designer did a really good job at differentiating which part of the sweater you were working on and kind of giving tips along the way to make sure you were well oriented to what you were doing. And because it is mainly stockinette, there's a little bit of ribbing edging on it. It's also pretty simple because you're really just focusing in on where are you attaching your yarn? How many stitches do I do? When do I increase? You don't have to worry about a stitch pattern. So that was really nice. You'll see that these are the shoulders. It's kind of like a join as you go modular type of style. And I also have armholes. So there's like different flaps. I'll make sure to show a picture of the designer's sweater so you can kind of see. There's like an inner panel and an outer panel, and they can kind of like separate and flap open, give lots of space. And that both accommodates a pregnant belly as well as makes it really easy to slide a baby under there to breastfeed or for pumping or whatnot. This also is pretty flattering on a non-pregnant body too. Even though it's a silhouette I don't necessarily wear a ton of, I would say, but I can definitely see myself getting a ton of use out of it while I'm pregnant, while I'm breastfeeding, and hopefully even beyond that, if I really love it. We'll see. I'm hoping this will be a staple for years to come, even when I'm not in this stage of my life. That's what's going on now. Now I am knitting panels. You're still knitting stockinette, but because it's knit flat, you're doing purl rounds and you're doing knit rounds, and I'm keeping track of my increases. Like, I printed out the pattern so I can do my tallies as I need to. There's a little bit of ribbing on the edges of both panels. And we're just knitting for a while. I got this much done in probably like a week and a half of knitting maybe. And then I was bombarded with work and it's been a rough week. We'll see when I can get back to this. I'm hoping this weekend I'll be able to get a lot of work done on it and just keep going. And then after I finish the body, we'll do the sleeves and then finish off the edges. So I wouldn't be surprised if I finish this in October because I really want to get a lot of wear out of it while I also have a pregnant belly that can benefit from having an accommodating fit like this. So I am loving it. I am so excited for it. And there's not a lot of projects on Ravelry, so I'm really excited to make something that not a lot of people have made and to share it because I think that this is a really good pattern so far. I'm really enjoying myself. I did there's like some optional decreases, not very often, but to kind of add like a little slant to the front panel so that it's a little bit of more flattering. It's not like totally crossbody, but like a little bit more flattering of a slant. And I included those because I wanted this, again, to be something that I would enjoy wearing when I'm not pregnant. That would maybe have a more flattering shape when my body changes in a few months. I'm really excited about this. This is gonna be a perfect winter sweater. I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of this. I really hope. So hopefully it's finished and I'm wearing it the next time you see me on my podcast. If you have any other like maternity friendly or breastfeeding friendly patterns that you would recommend, definitely let me know down below because I would love to keep making patterns in this realm while this is the stage of life that I'm in. It's what I'm getting excited about. And I'm getting excited about baby makes too, but I need to swatch for some of those. The other thing I have already casted on that, oh wow, why didn't I finish this? I could have totally finished this last night. I got distracted, I guess. But this is just an easy sock project. I needed something simple and portable on my needles. But these, I'm gonna call them my Halloween DK socks. But look, cute. I'm almost done with the first sock. I'm working on the toe right now. This colorway is so perfect for the season. It's Northwoods Fibers in the colorway Vintage Halloween. It's the self-striping colorway. And I bought it a while ago, 4 years ago, probably 4 years ago now. And I just haven't gotten around to it. I have the Vintage Thanksgiving colorway as well, and I have socks in those. So I thought it would be fun to make Halloween socks to kind of coordinate and match. It is a tweedy base, which is not my favorite because I just like to pick at the tweedy bits that are loose. Maybe I shouldn't be doing that. There's just a little bit too much tweed, and like the ones that are loose, I just want to pick at. But that's something that I have an issue with. So I don't work with tweed a lot, but I think that it adds to the coziness of these socks. Like I said, they are DK. I'm going to try to make my socks match completely. So I'm being really mindful of where I do my heel and toe in the color sequence, as well as like where I start my next sock so that they can match as close as possible. I bought the sock set, so it came with the black color to go with it. And I did a heel flap and gusset because that style of sock fits me the best. And so I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far. These should be really cozy. Don't know if it'll get cold enough in the month of October in Utah to wear these, but I'm hoping that I can get the chance to do that. I should be able to finish this sock maybe even today and then get started on the second sock. So this is not going to take very long, especially at a DK weight gauge. This is a really fast project and something I can just fly through. I just wanted something mindless and simple because I don't have a lot on my needles right now. I just needed a project like this. So I do need to cast on. Maybe I should do a cast on vlog where I like do a bunch of swatching and casting on of projects because I have a lot of things in mind that I want to work on and I just haven't started. And I have a lot of plans for things that require a swatch. So that's why I cast on the socks, because they were simple, easy. I know my gauge for knitting socks with a DK base like this. So that was an easy choice to make, but since these are going to be done soon and I'm just chugging away at my mom's hug sweater, I need something else on the needles. I think we'll be doing some gauge swatching soon so I can cast on some baby makes. If you haven't seen my fall plans video, then I'll definitely link it up above and down below. But I share a whole bunch of patterns of things that I want to make for the fall season, for like Christmas makes, and then I even have a section for baby knits that I have in mind too. So definitely make sure to check out that video and let me know what you're gonna be making this fall. I do have some things in my queue that I'm hoping to make. I'm not gonna talk about a ton of those plans here because I have a whole video about it. So make sure to check out that video. Couple yarn goodies to share with you today. I don't have a ton because a lot of these yarns, again, I talked about in my fall plans video because I have plans for some baby makes and I bought some yarn recently that I'm really excited to try out for these baby makes. And so I'm going to share the things I haven't really talked about in that video, but I may do like a little snippet of like, here are some beautiful yarns you can look forward to seeing soon in my podcast videos. First, I want to talk about Goose and Ghost Knits. I already showed the mushroom bag. I do have like a Halloween tote. I don't know where it went. Maybe my daughter took it, but I got a couple bags from Ghost and Ghost Knits. I love how she makes project bags. She'll sew them up. She's designed them herself, but also the fabric is one that she has designed herself. I think she has some graphic design background, some artistic background, which is really cool to see. And this is her, what did she call it? The Life of a Dough Girl bag inspired by Taylor Swift. And it is currently October 3rd. And so I've already listened to the album. I did not stay up late to do that. I went to bed, but I listened to it first thing this morning, and there's so many really funny bread-related puns on this bag, which is so cute. And I don't know if Ashley included this just because we're friends or because she was having a fun time with this pre-order, but I also got this bracelet that she made that says Clara Dough on it, which is so cute. I haven't found a project for this bag yet, but it's just so cute. Should have said dough, baby just say yeast, flower song, loafing him was bread. It's a loaf story. So good. I love the bread puns. I'll definitely link her shop down below and you can check out some of her other bags too. I don't know if she has sold out of that design yet or if she's planning on restocking or what. I've really been loving the drawstring style bags just because I don't have to worry about a zipper catching on anything, and they're just really nice as like a built-in handle to be able to hold and maneuver with. This is the medium-sized bag, which I think she said is good for like maybe like a foreskin project, like a shawl size project. So my sweater is definitely a little too big for the bag that I have, but I think it'll be good for like containing my yarn as I'm working on the project in the meantime. And then hopefully I'll just finish the project soon and it won't be a big deal that my sweater will be bursting at the seams. I also recently purchased a Cordsmith original. This one says Stay Crafty. Cute. So the story about this. So Cordsmith, if you don't know this tool, is for making I-cords. I'm really excited to try it out. I've not had the chance to do that yet. I-cords can get a little finicky and they can also have some tension issues, which are okay. And I think with practice, they'll get better. But I just wanted to try out this tool to see if I have a better experience doing I-cords, and if that's something I would really enjoy doing more if I had a tool to help make it a little bit easier. So I'm gonna try this out. This Stay Crafty version is a recent update of hers, and it's because someone complained to the maker of Cordsmith that they were being like secretive online by like posting something to Craftsnark. I don't know. It was some really silly drama, and I wanted to support Autumn because I hadn't bought from her yet, and she was donating some of the proceeds to like a gun reform organization, which I firmly believe in, and so I wanted to be able to support that. So I got the Stay Crafty version. She also had a Stay Snarky version. I don't know if they're still available or not, but I thought that this would be so fun to try out. So I will let you know how that process goes. Maybe I'll do like a little like YouTube short or reel about it or something as I learn how to do a little I-cord. That would be really great for, the frog whips that I have that are over here. I thought about doing I-cords for legs. That would be great for that. I thought about using the leftovers of this to make into an I-cord to join my mitts together for baby boy so they're less likely to get lost. I have some ideas on trying this out, so I'll let you know. Let me know if you've used a Cordsmith before. I know that she has a few different versions, a few different sizes, a few different needle counts, things like that. So if I really love this and I see myself using more, then I might get another one. I don't know. The last non-yarn thing I want to share with you, my book I ordered finally came in. This is Knitted While Animal Friends. I have the Knitted Animal Friends book, and I was just looking for projects of what I'd want to make for my daughter and for my son. And I just found that I'm more excited to make the animals in this book compared to the Knitted Animal Friends book. So I bought this one as well to go with it. So I'm going to make, let me see if I can find. I want to make the James the Bear for my son. And then for my daughter, she wanted a leopard. We don't have a leopard in here. I think I'm going to do a combination of taking the spot pattern from the giraffe and superimposing them on the tiger's body. Instead of doing stripes on the tiger's body, doing the spots from the giraffe. Something like that, but I'm gonna use the tiger's body because it'll be the closest to like a leopard. I'm gonna make the bear first because I don't have to modify the pattern. And then we'll, for Christmas, work on a stuffy for my daughter to match because I wanna try hard to make sure I'm making things for my daughter as well, even though I'm excited to make things for this new baby that's a new gender that I haven't made anything for yet. So I'm trying to make sure that my daughter gets some fun things that she wants as well. So gonna make both of them stuffies. She wants lots of clothes for this stuffy. So if I am a really on top of it mom, I'm gonna make a few different outfits for this leopard that she wants, and she'll be really excited to open that for Christmas, I think. The only yarn I want to share with you explicitly here is from Yarnaceous Fibers. This is their Swift Reads Club in the Sino Sparkling Fingering Base. Look at that sparkle. And this skein is called I Wish You Would. So this is a monthly club where each skein is inspired by a book that has been inspired by a Taylor Swift song. So this book, I think this yarn is inspired by the book I Wish You Would by Eva de Laurier. I'm not French. So that's my guess based on what the cover looks like and this beautiful color palette. So I have a plan to make a blanket with these yarns, but I'm waiting for them all to come. I will get one skein every single month. So 12 skeins plus a 13th skein for doing the whole 12-month club. And I'll use that 13th skein as a border around all the other ones. But I have a crochet project in mind that I'm going to make with these. So if you want to find out more about that, I have a vlog where I share different blanket quantities of yarn I have, or incoming blanket quantities of yarn for my stash, and what I plan to make with them. So I share what pattern and kind of my plan of action for this. I'm really excited to get started, but I think it'll be better to just wait till I have all the yarn and I can dive right in. And then a couple little sneak peeks. These are some of the yarns I'm going to use for my baby boy and projects I have coming up for him. So again, if you want to learn more about the baby knits I plan to make soon, definitely make sure to check out that fall plans video because I have a section at the end. But this is kind of the color palette I'm going for, like dusty greens, blues, tan browns kind of thing. So I'm really feeling these like slightly more like desaturated colors, but I have a lot of plans in mind and I need to start casting on. So I think that's going to be a goal of mine over the next week, is swatching and casting on a lot of little projects so I can have some small, more portable things on the go that I can make for him. So I said at the very beginning of this podcast, but I think this is going to be the last podcast episode that I film in this space, which is great because it's a mess. Can you see? It's embarrassing. I just stopped organizing as much and like messing around with my yarn stash when I knew that this space would not be permanent. This room is going to become the nursery. So that means the downstairs bedroom is going to become my office space. So we are making over that space downstairs. We started painting yesterday. I'm going to do hopefully another coat on the ceiling today and then retape some things so I can do the walls in a really cute like pastel-y green just for like calm and encourage like the good lighting, the brightness in the space. Then we're going to move all of this stuff downstairs and I will get a chance to reorganize. So you should see some vlogs coming up over the next month or two as I am moving my office space downstairs, my office space craft room downstairs, reorganizing, settling in and making it a space that I absolutely love. I'm really excited and it'll be a really good chance for me to go through things and organize between like not feeling good in my first trimester and then knowing that this space was not going to be permanent. Things have fallen by the wayside and have not been as organized. And so I'm really excited to be able to like have a fresh start and go through my stash again and kind of reorganize and be ready for like the next phase of my project making and the things I'm really looking forward to working on this winter. I'm really excited that I'll have my own space. This is like a pass-through bedroom. You'll see there's stairs right there. So my daughter comes up and down these stairs a lot because her space is up there. So it'll be nice having like all the kids' stuff on like the same side of the house, all connected. And then I'll be able to have my office downstairs closer to like the family space so I can be kind of close to them because that's where we tend to play a lot, is kind of down there. And I'm just excited to have my own space that's kind of away from the rest of the house, but still really close to the center of the house, if that makes sense. Just not in the middle of the action of like all the traffic, I guess, but still really convenient. And that way I can put my plants in there, close the door, and the cat won't get to them, things like that. It's gonna be a process. Painting was not fun yesterday, but we got all the like trim and stuff done. So I'm hoping just another coat on the ceiling means that this weekend we can start working on the actual walls and the fun part of painting. 1 to 2 coats on the walls to kind of even things out, and then start moving the furniture and boxing up my yarn and yeeting it down the stairs so that I can settle in and have a space that I really love and that's really conducive for me to continue working on this YouTube channel and on the small business and on my making in general in a way that brings me a lot of fulfillment while I'm going through some life transitions and going through different seasons of my life, trying to balance a lot of different things and, you know, adding another human to the mix. I just want to make sure that I still have space and time for me and the things that make me feel fulfilled beyond being a mother and a wife. That's important to me, that I keep the many facets of myself. So I'm really excited to be able to make a space that honors that. I'm really excited about that. That's like the big thing going on in my brain right now, and just working on a lot of different projects since I have my energy and I'm really excited and have a lot of motivation and inspiration right now. Gonna see how much we can get through before baby gets here. Really, my goal is to get a lot done in the next couple months before December so that December can be a really smooth and easy time to enjoy like our last chance with just my daughter and her being an only child, and really enjoying the Christmas season because it's my favorite part of the year, and just kind of gearing up for a big life change and a big family change. That's kind of what's going on with us. Let me know what you're looking forward to this fall. Are you jumping back into knitting and crocheting a lot of things, or are you looking more at, you know, fun seasonal things to do outside the house right now? Let me know what you're excited about this season of your life, because even with lots of hard things going on, I hope that we can all find some things to be looking forward to and that can be bringing us joy, even in small ways, to help us sustain hope through the hard seasons. That's not where I thought that I was going to go with this podcast, but thank you so much for being here and for being invested in the things that I am working on. I love to share them with you, and I am really excited for this season and the things that I'm preparing for, and hoping that I can balance all of these moving pieces as I am adjusting and getting ready for a new member of our family. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this type of content and want to see more bookish and yarn content from me, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification down below to be notified every time I post a new video. And until next time, happy making. Bye.